I was always sort of stayed on the outside of it and pretty much sided with Paul, but occasionally I would side with Kurt, not so much as a bargaining chip, just because Kurt has an edge that is not. I mean, we tried kicking Kurt out of the band after the record came out, first record, and the record comes up, no.
Really?
No, you're not going to do that. And it was like, and then there was a couple times when we didn't have Kurt in the band, we kicked him out or whatever, he quit. And even later in 2007, we had a different singer. And we kind of became our own tribute band, and it was kind of like, it's not Information Society without Kurt. It just isn't. Even though the music is almost all what makes Information Society great, for a live performance, it's just, and he's hot and cold. Sometimes he's awesome. Sometimes he's terrible. Sometimes he's very confrontational with the audience. Sometimes an audience likes that, and some audiences don't. And so,
right.
So it's very uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
But the discomfort is what makes it kind of like happening in the moment.
Well, I'm going to ask you, digressing a bit to the Running single, because that's not Kurt singing on Running.
That's correct.
So who is
that? Was the time when Kurt was out of the band. I had quit I think Kurt and I both had quit the band in 83 or something. And I went to Seattle and Kurt went to Vienna, and Paul stayed back and did Running. And a guy who was in the band at the time, Murat Konar, we had kicked Kurt out another time, was a pretty good songwriter. He wrote the song, and Paul produced it with this kind of African Bambaataa beat.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a Latin lover song. Even the guy who wrote it, Murat Konar, he's Turkish, and so it had that kind of romantic thing.
So did he write?
And then he wrote they were rewritten a bit, if not extensively, and the way that the chorus was rewritten musically. Mm-hmm. But some of the lyrics, mostly of the verses, were Murat's.
Okay.
And then he quit the band because he wanted to be a software engineer, and he has a legitimate life.
Yeah.
He was in San Francisco. He came and sang at one time when we played in San Francisco about cool. 10 years ago, and we brought up special guest, and it was really cool.
Now with I don't want to tread into unnecessarily political waters, but I did want to note that with Peace and Love Incorporated, as a song and as a single and the video,
right,
it felt like you guys were touching on something that's really relevant to right now, which is this sort of corporate wokeness.
Oh yeah,
it's just.
I mean, yeah, that was we were woke. We were woke in the early '80s on that. We were, in fact, we styled ourselves after a corporate entity. We wanted to be the new corporate, the avant corporate, we called it. And so we wanted to. Information Society was just the musical part was just part of it. We wanted to be a corporation. All these very sophomoric sort of ideas. And that video was that record was actually a return to form. We thought, well, let's stop trying to chase the fairy and just do a record that we like.
Yeah.
Electronic, kind of a little more black and white, a little more, I don't know, just more electronic sounding.
Yeah, but that piece incorporated the sort of idea of corporate culture co-opting political correctness for its own bottom line.
Oh yeah,
so ahead of its time, and you're seeing so much.
You know what it felt like?
What?
To be ahead of your time?
Oh, like my ear?
Yeah, it meant that they wouldn't, MTV wouldn't play the video because their shoe sponsors. There's a shoe, a tennis shoe that's. And those are all those product shots were done by people who did product shots for commercial television, for commercials.
Yeah.
And so, and it was called Envy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know, instead of a Nike logo. And Nike said that if MTV played that, they would pull out their advertising.
Oh God.
So
Okay.
we were sunk by our own doing, by that being the message. And the Peace and Love Incorporated was, co-op. The idea was, it was kind of that corporate America would even co-opt the concept of peace and love,
Right.
and sell it as a product.
Yeah.
And so that tour was a very fun tour. We had all of these orange outfits, and we had these black T-shirts, and mine said "You are," Kurt's said "A," and Paul said "Product." And so this whole idea that we are the products that are being sold to the corporate overlords, our eyeballs, and all that kind of stuff. So we had been, digesting those themes since Future Shock, since the days of the 80s and information set. So conceptually, all of that was kind of returned to form for us. Critics of culture, and regurgitating of our own culture, and the kind of self-referential sort of all that. And so it was I thought it was a great video. I mean, I love that.
Oh,
and Mark Pellington directed that video, so it was a return to what worked before, and we had a great tour, but we couldn't get any traction at MTV, and so it was, and that was just the moment when MTV decided to go metal.